Hello, friends. Do you love to travel and learn about new places and things? Great! Then you are in the right place. Join Jasmine the cat and Gracie the tortoise as they have fun exploring the USA, the world, and beyond.
Hello, friends! It's Jasmine, the jazzy gray cat, here with my bestie Gracie, the super smart tortoise. Say hi, Gracie.
Greetings, my good friends. Gracie here. I'm so glad you joined us today as we explore ancient Greece.
Cool! I loved learning about Greek mythology. After you listen to this podcast, make sure you check out our one on Greek mythology and our one when we explored Greece, if you haven't already. So why is ancient Greece so important, Gracie? It was a super duper long time ago.
That's right, it was, Jasmine, over 3,000 years ago. But we still learn about this time because the Greek people built powerful cities and were great thinkers, warriors, writers, actors, athletes, artists, architects, and politicians. Why, the idea of democracy, the way our government is run today, came from the Greeks. Democracy is a form of government where the citizens have a say on how the country is run.
Oh, I get it. Like how we vote for our own president. Okay, so I guess I do need to learn about ancient Greece. At first, Greece was not one country, but was divided into city-states that each had their own rules. Two of the biggest ones were Sparta and Athens. Sparta was known for being great fighters, and Athens, people liked to spend their time more on arts, the law, and learning. The city-states didn't always get along and fought a lot.
That's right. But then along came Alexander the Great. He was born in 356 BC and became a great warrior. He was the king of Greece and united all the city-states into one country. After that, he went on to conquer most of Europe and Asia. He did all of this before he died at the age of 36.
Even before Alexander, the Greeks were great warriors. One time they were in a war with the people of Troy, which is now the country of Turkey. It all started when the king of Troy's son, Paris, fell in love with the gorgesso Helen, who was already married to the king of Sparta. But I guess she got kind of confused because she fell in love with Paris and Helen and Paris ran off to Troy. Of course, this made the Greeks mad, so they attacked Troy. Since there was a huge wall that surrounded the city of Troy to protect it, the Greeks couldn't get in. So they came up with this really cool plan of building a giant wooden horse to give as a gift to the people of Troy. Now this was really a trick because soldiers hid inside, and when the horse was pulled into the city, the soldiers jumped out and conquered them. Then Helen was taken back to Sparta and lived happily ever after with the king again. The end.
That story of love and war has fascinated readers for the ages. There are many legends about it, but the most famous was written by the poet Homer. His two poems, the Iliad and the Odyssey, tell of the exciting events and brave people during the Trojan War. The Iliad tells of the last year of the war and a quarrel between King Agamemnon and the warrior Achilles. The Odyssey is about the adventures of Odysseus, the king of Ithaca, as he travels home after the Trojan War. As he travels, Odysseus has many adventures, from surviving a shipwreck to tricking a cyclops, and was even turned into a pig. He has so many adventures, it takes him 10 years to finally get home.
I'll bet he was super happy to get home to his wife and son. Another important idea the ancient Greeks had was the theater. We learned about this when we explored Greece. I remember that only men and boys could act, and they used masks so the audience could tell whether they were happy or sad.
That's right, and we have also talked about the many gods and goddesses of the ancient Greeks. To honor these gods, many festivals were held in celebration. The first Olympic Games were held to honor the god Zeus in the city of Olympia in 776 BC. Since the city-states were often fighting with each other, when it was time for the Olympics, they would stop fighting and have a truce so the games could be held. The events included wrestling, boxing, long jump, javelin, discus, and chariot racing. There were no gold medals for the winners, though, only a wreath of leaves and special privileges like free meals and great theater seats when they got home.
The clothing of the Greeks looks very comfy. I think I would like to wear a peplos. That's what the ladies wore. It was a long piece of fabric and looked kind of like a dress. It was tied around the middle with a belt. Men wore a chiton, which looked like a long t-shirt. Kids, especially when they were little, often didn't wear anything when they were at home. Oh my. When they went to school, then they would dress like their mom and dad. Crazy.
The Greeks used to tell stories about why things happened. Many of the stories were about the gods and goddesses and mythical beasts. Why don't we end our exploration of ancient Greece with another myth? We can tell the story of Daedalus and his son Icarus.
Go ahead, Gracie. You start.
Fine with me. Once, a long, long time ago, there was a man named Daedalus. He was an inventor who designed beautiful buildings. King Minos, who lived on the island of Crete, asked him to design a labyrinth or a maze as a home for his pet minotaur.
I know what a minotaur is. It's a creature that's part man and part bull. Sounds a little scary.
I think it could be. Now back to the story. No one was supposed to be able to solve the puzzle of the maze. But unfortunately someone did, and they killed the minotaur. King Minos was very angry and put Daedalus and Icarus in a tower. Since Daedalus was a great inventor, he had the idea of making wings using feathers and wax so they could fly away.
Now it's my turn. And his idea worked. The wings took them away from Crete. Now Daedalus warned Icarus not to fly too close to the sun or the wax would melt and the wings would fall apart. Icarus was not a good listener, and he was having so much fun flying that he went higher and higher and got too close to the sun. His wings melted and he fell into the sea and drowned. Daedalus was so sad that he never flew again. What a sad ending to the story.
Yes, it is. Icarus should have listened to his father and not been such a daredevil. Now how about some jokes to finish off our exploration?
Okay, let's do bird jokes for the silly Icarus. Here's an easy one, Gracie. Why do birds fly south?
Jasmine, I do know this one. Because it's too far to walk. Now, why do hummingbirds hum?
And I know this one. Because they don't know the words. But I do like to watch them as they gather nectar from my flowers. My favorite fact was the story of the Trojan horse. I'll bet the people of Troy were super surprised to see soldiers coming out of it. How about you, Gracie?
My favorite fact was that many of the ideas the Greek had are still used today, like democracy and the poems of Homer. How about you, friends? What was your favorite fact? Don't forget to tell someone you love.
That's right. And come back next week as we explore ancient Rome. Bye now. Say goodbye, Gracie.
Goodbye, my dear friends. See you next time.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining Jasmine and Gracie on their adventure today. Come back next week for the next one.
Hello, everybody. It's Gwen here. If you want to know more about the places we visited, just go to our website, jasmineandgracie.podbean.com, and go to the sources page, and you can find out all about the great places that we visited. See you next week. Bye-bye.